Hello, Captains! In honor of the 30th anniversary of Star Trek The Next Generation, I am going to be making a series of videos honoring the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. No bloody A, B, C, or E. This is the D. So I will be showing this starship starting with the original classic Galaxy class. And I will be doing it in some PvE content and missions here in the game Star Trek Online. We're going to take it into combat, and I'm going to show you this tier of ship in combat. I am also going to make subsequent videos on other variants of the D, such as a retrofit version this game has, and also the big bad Dreadnought version that was seen in an episode of TNG. In fact, the very last episode of TNG. So I will be showing more videos based on this ship, but first I want to start with the basic, the original Galaxy class. And so before we jump into actually looking at the specifications of the ship in the game and combat in the game, let's take just a quick memory trip back in time and let's go over specifications of the starship, the NCC 1701D, in the TV show. So obviously this is from Star Trek The Next Generation. It debuted in September of 1987. So that's why we are now here 30 years later honoring the TV show and this great iconic looking ship. It really does look good in space. The Enterprise, of course, is the NCC 1701D. It is a Galaxy class starship. It is, or was, the Federation's flagship. So this was the flagship of the Federation. It is a 24th century Federation starship. It is the 5th ship to bear the name Enterprise. It was built at Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards, orbiting Mars. It was launched from Mars in the year 2363. So that's when it launched. And it was destroyed on Viridian 3 in 2371. In the Generations movie. So that means that this ship had an 8-year lifespan. Notable features of this ship. It is 2,108 feet long, that is 642.5 meters in length. It has a cruising speed of warp 9.2 on the TNG scale. However, it has an emergency maximum sustainable speed of warp 9.6 for 12 hours. And in one episode, they even managed to push it all the way to warp 9.8 for a little bit. And that's the fastest the ship has ever gone on its own propulsion system. Now, there were some other things that happened to the ship, like the Traveler, who made it travel at warp 9.999999996, something like that. It was really fast. It was not warp 10, but it was really fast. That, of course, was not on its own propulsion system. That was because of the Traveler. But on its own propulsion system, they managed to take it to warp 9.8 as the fastest it has ever gone. But its actual cruising speed is really only 9.2, so it sounds a little bit slower. Remember, this is an earlier 24th century ship. This is before the E. The E, of course, was faster. Even Voyager was faster, but Voyager had a newer kind of warp system. So anyway, that's its cruising speed, anywhere between 9.2 and 9.6 it could operate in pretty good. It is capable of a high warp saucer separation. This was unique about this ship. It could separate into two pieces, and you could have the saucer fly away on impulse power, and then you would have the battle section of it left, which actually had warp engines still, and it could operate in two different pieces like that. This was, of course, used in Generations when they separated it and landed the saucer separation, or crash landed the saucer separation, the saucer part on the planet, and everybody survived that way, while the drive section was destroyed. So we did see this a couple of times. I think we even saw this in the very first episode of the series in Farpoint. at Farpoint. The Farpoint, I think it was a two-parter, and we saw this separate. I don't know if we saw it separate in the first episode or the second episode, but it was one of those. So that was very unique at the time about this starship, is that it was capable of that. It didn't do it a whole lot, but it was capable of it. Interestingly, the ship did receive a computer refit in the year 2364. So 1 year after being launched, they gave it a computer refit. That was done by the Binars in the episode where the Binars basically stole the Enterprise to upload their world into the computer. And that shows you how powerful the computer systems were on the Enterprise, that they could upload an entire world's consciousness into the computer. Very powerful. Anyway, that computer refit did stick with the ship, so that's an interesting fact there. The ship had a full refit. Yes, it did have a full refit after the Borg encounter in the Best of Both Worlds. So you had the Best of Both Worlds 1 and then 2. After that encounter, it did get a refit because it had so much damage from that episode, from that two-parter, that they had to first go and fix all that damage. It took about 5 to 6 weeks for them to fix all that damage while it was at Earth Space Dock, basically. I think it was the McKinney Station, they called it. And it went through all the damage repair, but here's what a lot of people didn't quite catch from that episode. It also received a phaser upgrade during that refit. So it really was a refit. They gave it a phaser upgrade, full damage repair, and a new dilithium chamber hatch, which played a part in a later episode where the hatch actually failed and caused some problems. But yeah, it had a phaser upgrade during that, or after that episode. So that's interesting. The Enterprise is comprised of 42 decks, and it carries a combined crew and passenger load of 1,012 to 1,014 people. Sometimes the numbers change based on the episode we're in, but around 1,012 people at a given time. Now, it can actually sustain more than that. I actually don't know the maximum amount of number there. I'd have to go back through like the technical manual or something, but I know it is in excess of 2,000 people that it could sustain if it needed to. But just on its own, there are 1,000 people on this ship at any given time. So that is a huge crew for the time. This was a huge crew compared to Kirk's crew, which was, only a couple of hundred people. That's huge. And Voyager only had like 200 people as well. So that is huge. Now, in terms of weaponry and armaments, it has 12 phaser arrays, 2 torpedo launchers, and a supply of 250 photon torpedoes, or tricobalt, or gravimetric, I think. And it also has hundreds of antimatter mines. That's something you didn't really hear a lot, but it does have hundreds of antimatter mines. It also uses a high-capacity shield grid that can operate on multiple frequencies, and of course a very powerful deflector array, one of the most powerful deflector arrays in a starship, basically because of the high power warp core and then the high power huge deflector array it has. It can put out a massive amount of energy through that deflector array, which is also used, of course, as deflector screens in combination with the shields. So it has very good defenses, and it has some offensive power as well through that, and can do just various scientific type of things through that as well. So that is pretty much the basics of this starship, and just from a profile view, it is iconic. It is a beautiful, striking starship. As we fly it towards Earth Space Dock, you'll just see how beautiful this starship looks. I mean, it is iconic. It's got a good profile to it. It looks like a space starship should look. Remember, aerodynamics not really important in space, though it is more aerodynamic than Kirk's Enterprise for sure. It's beautiful as we fly it in here. And so what I'm going to do next, now that we talked about the TV show version of the Enterprise, which is just amazing, I'm going to fly us down here to Earth Space Dock. We're going to go to ground, and we are now going to talk about the specifications of this ship as it is in game, because naturally the specs differ on this ship between the in-game version and the TV version. In our TNG themed video here, I am on my character Ensign Ricky, and as you can see, I have the TNG classic uniform. This is from the TV series. There's the comm badge, there's our Admiral Pips, Fleet Admiral, and our uniform. So that just brings us into this whole theme here of the next generation. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go over the in-game Star Trek Online version of the Enterprise D, the classic Galaxy class, and I'm talking about the very basic one, the one you get for free in this game. That's right. As you level up your character in this game, at captain level, which is level 30, you get a free starship, just like you do at every level. One of the ships you can get is a cruiser-based ship called the Exploration Cruiser. And as we go look at it, under the starships here, we'll go to Captain, Exploration Cruiser. This is the first time you will come upon the Galaxy-class starship in Star Trek Online. Now, as I said, they give you a free token to unlock this ship at level 30. You can get a cruiser, a science vessel, or an escort. So if you go with cruiser, this is the one you'll get. This is a tier 4 starship. So the maximum current level ship in-game as of this time is tier 6. So this ship is 2 full ship levels below the main, the highest ship level of the game. This ship cannot be upgraded in any way. You cannot make it a tier 5, you cannot make it a tier 5U, you can't make it a tier 6. It is tier 4 through and through, and there are no upgrades you can do to this ship. However, you can fly this ship at in-game. You will notice I am level 60 right now, and I have this ship equipped. So you can actually fly this ship as an in-game ship if you wish. And what I'm going to show you in today's video is that even as a tier 4 ship, this ship is still capable of end-game content. That's right. A well-built ship that's tier 4 can still play all the stuff that every person can play at in-game. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate today. But let's go over the specifications of this ship first. So as I said, this is an exploration cruiser, tier 4, and it says here the Galaxy class was the flagship of the fleet when it was first launched in the 2350s. That's actually incorrect. We know the actual date is 2363. The most well-known Galaxy class vessel was the USS Enterprise D, commanded by Jean-Luc Picard. Maybe the Galaxy class came before that, because there is a sister ship to this ship. So maybe that one was released in the 2350s, but this one was in the early 2360s. The exploration cruiser configuration includes the Galaxy, Celestial, and Envoy classes. So there's different classes to this type of ship as well. The Tier 4 version has +5 power to all subsystems, and it does have the full cruiser communications array because it's a cruiser. So that means it has strategic maneuvering, shield frequency modulation, weapon system efficiency, and attract fire. You will note there is no unique console with it, no unique console ability, and it does not have saucer separation. So this ship is very basic. This is just a ship, and that's it. Now, in terms of seating here, you have a lieutenant commander tactical spot, a commander engineering station, a lieutenant tactical station, a commander engineering, and a lieutenant engineering, and a lieutenant science. So it's very basic in terms of seating as well. Basically 4 seats, 1's tactical, 2 is engineering, 1 is science. It leans heavy on engineering And as you can see, it has a full commander engineering station, which means you can have a full tier 3 commander engineering ability on this ship. In terms of consoles, it has 3 engineering consoles, 2 tactical, and 2 science. It has 4 forward weapons, 3 aft, so it's actually got a pretty good amount of weapon slots, but a base hull of 32,500. This is the one area right here where the ship will be a little weak for you at in-game, is just the fact that the hull strength is very low. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, it actually supports a good amount of weapon array slots. Shield modifier of 1, base turn rate 6, this is a slow-moving ship, it's not meant to be fast. Device slots 4. Let me see if there's anything else worth noting here. No, that's really it. I'm looking at a web page here on the ship, and that's really it. That's pretty much the specs of it. It's a very, very simple starship because it's only tier 4. It doesn't have any kind of mastery stuff. It has no specialized bridge officer seating, and it has no unique console. So it's pretty simple to make a build with this ship. If you are concerned about the over complexity of building a starship in Star Trek Online, something like this tier 4 starship here would be really simple to make a build on. It's a lot less complex. So that's something to think about if you're building a starship. I'm going to go to customize the ship, and we're going to look at things you could do to this ship to customize the view of it. So here is the Galaxy as it looks by default. Now there are some other templates here. You could make it look like the Andromeda if you have that purchased. That costs Zen. The Celestial, you could make it look like the Celestial. That's for free. You could make it look like the Envoy. That's also for free. And the Venture if you buy the Venture. So those other two that I was talking about, the Venture, the Andromeda, we're going to go over those different variants. But those are different variants of the ship that they have in the C-Store. They have higher tiered ships of the Galaxy you can buy. But today we're just focused on the plain Jane Galaxy, and that's the one we're going to look at today. Now you can change the interior of it. Right now I have the classic Galaxy 2368 interior. That is also a Z-Store purchasable item, but it gives it the classic interior look of the Enterprise. You can change the window type. You can change the pattern color and the material color. Default is type 2, but if you have different materials, you can put them on the ship as well. But we're going with the classic Galaxy today. And of course, if you have different things purchased here or selected, you can kind of mix and match things up to customize your Galaxy class or put a pattern on it. Again, we're going with the classic look today. So before we go up into space and look at it a little bit further, let me show you what my bridge officer seating is, because it's real simple on this ship. For my commander engineering, I put directed energy modulation 3, I put emergency power to shields 3, I got emergency power to weapons 2, and emergency power to engines 1. So obviously you can just, build that how you want that. For my tactical, I've only got 2 options that I can have here. So I went with beam fire at will 2 because I've got a lot of beams on this ship. It's definitely a beam boat ship. And then I've got a high yield torpedo on here. For my other engineering, I've got auxiliary power to the structural integrity field because, like I said, this ship is very weak in the hull strength. So this will give me some more hit points and damage resistance. And then I have an engineering team to repair the hit points. And then on the science team, that repairs my shields. And then I also have a polarized hull to give me more damage resistance because, again, the weak part of this ship as an in-game content ship is the hull strength. That's the weak part. So if you can buff up that hull strength a bit and do things for that, then this ship could be a very, very worthy in-game starship, even though it's only tier 4. That's pretty much it in terms of my bridge officer powers and what I have set on this thing. Now, in terms of my skill set, my traits and everything, not traits, skills. Right now, I've got pilot set as my secondary, and I don't even have all of it unlocked, but I mostly do. So I'm getting a plus 37% turn rate. Trust me, that helps. You want a higher turn rate on this ship because it does turn slow. So having the pilot specialization as your secondary and getting that passive buff of extra turn rate is beneficial to this ship. Now, in terms of my primary, right now, let's see, I've got Intelligence Officer selected as my primary, and that's because I have it all maxed out. Otherwise, if I had it, which I don't, I might go with Miracle Worker on this ship as my primary. But as you can see, I do not have Miracle Worker done at all yet, so I can't have that. Another one that I might have on this ship would be Command Officer. That would be another one I would probably put on the ship. But on this specific character of mine, Ensign Ricky, I only have Intelligence Officer as primary maxed out right now. So that's all I can do on this ship right now is that. And then Pilot as secondary. So that pretty much tells you the traits on there. Putting the type of trait on there can really, you know, help with the ship. When it comes to in-game ships, like a tier 4 ship, the way to make up powers, because you are limited, is to do things like have really good skills here set on your specialization and have really good traits set on your ship. So for Starship Traits, for example, I have a lot of Starship Traits I actually have enabled on this ship. I've got improved predictive algorithms. I've got retaliation. Now these you can buy off the exchange, so anybody can have these Starship Traits. And so since I figured that anybody can have these if you can afford them off the exchange or in a lockbox or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and use them as well, because that is the way you buff a ship like this that is not a tier 6 ship. It's only tier 4, so we need to do everything we can to make it better. So you want to have your specialization points set. You want to have all the Starship Traits maxed out on it you can. You want to have all your space reputation maxed out. All of that is very important. We have retaliation, which means when critically hit, we can stack damage. We have shield overload, which is going to give me damage resistance. We have improved critical systems, which is going to give me critical chance and critical severity buffs to do more damage with the ship. And then we have weapon system synergy, which is going to give me projectile weapon damage and some energy weapon system synergy stuff here, basically doing more damage. So I got a couple of things that are helping me with more damage, and I got a couple of things that are helping me with damage resistance or healing, that kind of thing, because on this ship we need it. And then my space reputation, this is just based off of all the reputation things I've unlocked, of course. I've got enhanced armor penetration for more armor penetration that helps me do more damage. I've got a shield capacity buff to give me more shield capacity. I got a hull capacity buff to give me more hull capacity. Then I have aux power to defense and aux power to offense. So I'm just showing you all these things I have active because that's very important on a tier 4 ship that you want to be your in-game ship. It's very important to do all of those things. Max them out as much as you can. Now let me show you what I'm running in terms of gear. The other way to make a tier 4 starship be good at in-game is to maximize the quality level of the gear you have. So you can see that everything I have is Mark 14 gold. That you want that, especially if you're just flying a tier 4 starship. You really need everything to be max level in order to do good. You could maybe get away with not max level stuff, but let me tell you, it really helps because again, the ship is weak in a few spots and we want to help augment that with some better equipment. So what I'm using is the Soul Defense system. I've got the shield, I've got an Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core with AMP, ECAP, EFF, SSS, WA, WS. That's weapons to Aux and weapons to shields. I have an Impulse, the Soul Defense Deflector Array as well. So that's a whole set. That gets me the Desperate Defenses set, which gives me impact distribution manifolds and discharge repair nanites. And let me tell you, that really helps while I'm in combat because it helps me heal really fast. And on a ship like this, that is very helpful. So the second bonus on this is more kinetic damage and a kinetic damage resistance rating and an energy damage resistance rating. So that's very helpful on this ship. And then the set 3 bonus is repair nanites, which help me do a whole bunch of hit point healing on my ship and ally. So that's the space set I'm using, and then of course I just have a good Elite Fleet Warp Core to go with it. In terms of phasers, I am using plain Jane phasers. These are just plain Jane phaser dual beam banks, but they do have the pen modifier on them, and they also have 2 crit Ds and an accuracy and another accuracy and a DM. And this one has damage times 2. So this one's damage times 2 and this is crit D times 2, but they both have pen. And down here, this one is a phaser beam with crit D times 2 as well and pen. And then I am using the Quantum Phase set from a mission reward. This is the Quantum Phase beam array, which is part of the Quantum Phase Catalyst set, which includes the Quantum Phase Torpedo, and the console for it is the Quantum Phase Converter, which also increases phaser damage as well, and aux power setting, and drain expertise as well. So I have this whole set on here, and it includes a couple of bonuses that gives you an accuracy rating, doubles potency of Quantum Phase weapons shield drain, doubles potency of Quantum Phase high yield torpedo shield drain, and then I have this new ability called a Quantum Destabilizing Beam, which basically gives me extra weaponry on the ship. So think of it this way, the ship is limited in its ability to have unique weapons, but I can get a unique weapon, an extra one, by having this Quantum Phase set here, and that gives me the Quantum Destabilizing Beam, which is a whole new weapon for my ship. So that's one way to expand the capability of the ship, is by using sets like this that actually provide new weaponry and stuff like that. So that really helps. And then for my tactical consoles, obviously I've got phaser damage buff and critical chance, but because of the Quantum Phase Converter here, this also increased phaser damage by plus 25, so it's pretty much like having 3 tactical consoles that are providing phaser damage buff. So that's how you do that, is you use the 2 down here for phaser damage buff, and then you find 1 you can put in a science console that also improves that same energy type, and it's like having a 3rd tactical console. So that way I expand upon the abilities of the ship even more that way. And then I do have a Temporal Disentanglement Suite on here as well, another mission reward. This increases my aux power setting, which is going to increase my offensive and defensive abilities. It's also going to give me a shield capacity buff, and it's also going to increase my critical chance and critical severity based on my auxiliary power. So that's why I have my Warp Core have weapons to auxiliary, is because auxiliary power, even on a cruiser, as an engineer, is still a very important thing to have, because that's going to increase my critical chance, my critical severity, and it's also going to increase other things as well. Something else that was by aux. My defensive resistance, that's what it is. This trait here with the Nukara trait, the defense, you get an all damage resistance based on auxiliary power. Also a maximum hit point and shield capacity, all based on your auxiliary power. So auxiliary power helps me with defense, hit points, shield capacity, critical chance, critical severity. So aux power, still very important on a cruiser like this. So doing all those things together, I have taken a tier 4 starship, and made it capable of doing in-game level 60 stuff with no problem. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you some normal difficulty stuff, and I'm going to show you some advanced difficulty stuff, just to show you that this ship is capable of all in-game content. Alright, let's go into space and take a look at the specifications, because obviously that's what's important here. We want to see what the end result is after we've buffed this ship up. So here she is, beautiful as ever, our Tier 4 exploration cruiser. Tier 4. Now, turn rate is still slow, as you can see, even with that buff. This is my turn rate. Remember, that's a plus 37% turn rate buff with pilot as secondary, and it's still that slow. So you can imagine without that buff how slow this thing would be. And that's what I'm saying. You really want to have pilot there as your secondary, because that turn rate buff is going to come in handy on this ship, because it is a slow moving ship. Now, in terms of, or slow turning, I should say, in terms of, and it also has a high inertia. Keep that in mind. When you stop, it takes it a while to stop. So keep that in mind. Now, as you can see, my power levels are really good. I got 80 on auxiliary, so that's really helping those things we were just talking about. I got 60 on engine, 96 on shield, 123 on weapons, and then, of course, I hit my emergency power to weapons, and that goes as high as I need it. So let's look at the specs. A stealth detection rating of 32.35. Power transfer rate is over 300. Oh, I forgot to go over the engineering consoles, didn't I? I do have a Xenotech power flow module, so that's giving me a power transfer rate and a hull penetration. And then I do have a Trellium D plating. That's giving me damage resistance and hull capacity and shield capacity. So even with all that, you'll see my hull is still low. 53,639, still not very high. So that's the only thing about this ship that's worrisome at in-game content, is the hull strength, because it's only Tier 4. But I can kind of get around that with my bridge officer powers I have. Plus, as an engineer, I have Miracle Worker to heal me back up. And here's the repair nanites that come with the Soul Defense System. That ability there, so that really heals me up. So I have a couple of things here that I can heal me up when I'm in danger. And then I have the Ox to Structural Integrity Field. And then I have Emergency or Engineering Team 1. And then I got the Polarized Hull. So I've got ways here to heal me and give me more defense when I need it. My hull repair rate is near 70% a minute. My shields are at 16,723. And my resists are mostly 44. There's radiation is low, but you don't come across that often. Everything else is around 44%. And then my crit chance is at 10%, so I have a 10% chance to hit crits. 71% on the severity of that. And then 10.5 degrees per second turn rate. Again, that's also kind of low, but you just have to deal with that. Having beams on the ship really helps. You can fire from the side, from the front. Also, I have two 360-degree beams. I got one that's an omnidirectional phaser beam, so it's always firing front or wherever I'm firing. And then the other one is the cutting beam. So I have the two-piece of the Omega adapted Borg technology as well. That gives you the Omega weapon amplifier. So that's all the specs on it. Here's the destabilizing beam. This is that extra bit of weaponry. It does phaser damage to the target, and it also drains their subsystem power and gives me more subsystem power. So that's something to keep in mind as well, there is having that extra weapon with that ability. And then, of course, I also have, because of the intelligence specialization, I have Intelligence Fleet 2. That's also important because that gives you more armor penetration and shield penetration. So all in all, I have a pretty good ship that's geared up and ready for in-game content as much as I can get it. Now, I'm sure that some others could come up with better builds. There's no question about that. And of course, my build is just one example out of many. and I do not claim it to be the best. I just claim it to work for me, and I'm sure others can make other unique builds. The important part is you want to max out all your gear to Mark 14 Epic. You want to have your specializations maxed out and set. You want to have your space traits set. You want to have Starship Traits set. You want to have all those things set in order to make this ship viable for in-game content since it's tier 4. All that stuff is very important. And then, of course, your bridge officer powers that you use. Here's the command array abilities. We've got weapon system efficiency, the shield frequency modulation, strategic maneuvering, and attract fire. That's all because this is a cruiser and you get the full suite of command abilities, command array abilities there. I also have some active reputation abilities. I've got the anti-time entanglement singularity here. That's going to do physical damage on enemies. I've also got another shield buff. This is a biomolecular shield generator. And then I also have the deploy sensor interference platform. These are all active reputation powers that I have selected. So all of these are extra things you can have when you have things like reputations and stuff maxed out. So all these things play together in giving me the ability to play in-game content with a tier 4 starship. And so that's what I'm going to do now. First I'm going to start with normal level in-game content, and then I'm going to do some advanced level things with this ship as well to show you that it is possible, though not the best experience in the world. And I'm going to not do anything with Elite, and I'll explain why at the end. But Elite is pretty much a no-go with this ship. But normal is good, and advanced just depends on the STF. So first I'm going to pause the video, and I'm probably going to get some things queued up. We will probably start with the latest stuff that's out right now in Star Trek Online, and that's the Zenkethi stuff. So I'm going to do a Zenkethi red alert. That's a normal level quality red alert, and that will be a good starter to show you how this operates with the new Zenkethi red alert stuff. So stand by, I'm going to queue that up, and when it pops I will resume the video and we'll take this thing into combat. Well, that went real fast. So this is the Zenkethi red alert. This is normal. There's only one difficulty of it, and that is normal. I am pugging this.
Zenkethi.
So no idea how this will go because it's a pug, but I will do my best for sure. So we'll go with the weapon system, and we're ready. We're ready to go. We'll see what happens. Remember, I'm in a tier 4 starship at in-game level 60 content. I'm at level 60 right now. Level 60 mission content.
All ships, this is Martok. Prepare for battle.
Well, he flew real far away. What the heck?
It's their cruisers first. They're the backbone of the Zenkethi fleet.
That ship is being stupid. I don't know what the deal with it. It like flew far away. I wanted to get back here because I know the big ships are coming and I want to stop those protomatter torpedoes.
Destroy enemy battleships to bring out their dreadnought.
There they are.
They're launching protomatter torpedoes. Destroy them and take out those ships.
Oops. I died. I shouldn't have wasted my beam. I should have used it for this ship. Okay, not bad so far. Let's get this ship over here. That inertia. Okay, took care of that. That's good, that's good, they're good, they're good. More ships. Incoming proto-matters. Well, they got a lot going on over there. I'm just afraid if I go over there, more ships are going to pop up here. Guess I can always hop back over. Because they need help. Got to get rid of this big ship.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Okay, there we go. Now we got the Dreadnought group.
There's the Senkethi flagship. Destroy it at once.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Destroy that dreadnought. Our time runs short. Excellent work.
Well, there you go. Zenkethi Red Alert in the bag. One protomatter torpedo got through, but didn't make it to the planet. And now it's gone. Very nice. So, that actually went pretty average for my experiences on this ship. At the beginning there I blew up, but that was out of my negligence. That's the only thing you have to watch for is blowing up with this ship. You just kind of need to make sure that you're healing when you need to heal, and you stay out of big explosions and that sort of thing. But otherwise, this ship is very capable because I have Mark 14 Epic, you know, weaponry and so forth. I'm doing a very good amount of damage. I just have to be careful about taking damage, but actually I'm not any worse than some powerful escorts in terms of hull strength, so it's really not too bad. But again, this is normal difficulty, so there is no other higher difficulty of this STF, or this Red Alert. But this shows you that here's a Tier 4 starship, and I successfully completed a in-game level 60 normal difficulty Red Alert. No problem at all. It worked well. It worked very well. Now the next thing to do is to take this in an actual STF. Not a Red Alert, but an STF. And so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do the new Gauntlet. That's right, the full Gauntlet. The new STF. This is the latest level 60 content. I am going to do it on normal. I will do it on advanced, but first I'm going to do it on normal to show you what it's like on normal quality. Join Tier 4 Starship, ready to go to Draenor Gauntlet. Don't know how long it's going to take to pop. Where did it go? I think because I have that selected, I can't see it. There it is. Okay. So this could take a while to pop, I'm not sure. I'll go ahead and pause the video and I'll bring it back when this thing is ready. Alright, here we go. This is Draenor Gauntlet in normal difficulty. I am pugging it, so no idea how it will go on a pug. But you know how that goes. Luck of the draw there. In my Tier 4 Galaxy class, again, just something to note as we play this. I didn't say this in the last round during the Red Alert, but just note the elegance and look of this starship when it's in battle, when it's flying around as I'm using it. It just looks iconic and fantastic. I mean, this is a good looking starship. It is good looking. Especially while it's in combat. Just imagine I'm in a TNG episode right now. It's excellent. I'm going to bring chat up just in case people want to talk or say anything.
Enemy ships detected.
Who do we have today?
On an intercept course.
Is this the Voth? We have the Voth. So we got the Voth is what we're dealing with today. They have that
Parts are ready.
that impenetrable shield thing, which is going to be tough to get through, but with my quantum phase set, it can drain shields, so maybe it will help. Make sure we get all the satellites. And we have. Excellent. Excellent. Just look at this thing flying through space. So beautiful. Don't know which satellite the enemy's going to pop
Picking
at.
up multiple enemy signals on sensors. Get ready.
Over there and maybe over here. Yes, over here. So let's go over here. That impenetrable shield is terrible. I hate that shield they have because it's hard to get through. Makes them immune. I got one group down. Now it's time for another group. Ah, crap. And I'm dead. The Voth are tough. The Voth are definitely tough. They can drain your energy. They've got all of that going on. It's just, eh. Draining my energy, and I hate that. And there's another wave already. Immune, 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 immune. Wow, they are tough. It is taking everything I got to keep healing. That's for sure. Here we go again. Repair the satellite. Well, we made it through that round.
Satellite?
Yes. I know. Let's get all the satellites. Upgrade satellites. Okay. This time, usually the enemy comes in the middle one, so I'm thinking this time we're going to hit in the middle. That inertia, man. It's fun to play with. I can drift through space. Drifting
Picking
in
up
space.
the enemy flagships. Hang
Yep,
on up
there
there.
they are. And this time it's the flagships. It's even tougher than it was. The Citadel ship, man, I ain't getting through that. Get out of here. Oh man, I'm by myself too. Concentrate on the smaller ship first. They're trying to drain my power. Wow, tough.
did it! Enemy fleets have disengaged.
Wow. Wow, that was really rough with the Voth.
Looks like the assault.
Now remember, with the Dranura Colony Assault here, the enemy varies every time you do it. It changes enemy. I have done it on this ship with the Vodwar before, and I've also done it with the Mirror Universe, I think, and the Borg. So the Voth were definitely one of the harder hitters, for sure. It was very tough with the Voth, and that was normal difficulty. But I managed to pull through, even with this Tier 4 ship. Again, only because, you know, you have all those specializations buffed, you have the traits, the Starship Traits, I have the epic equipment, all of that really helps in aiding this Tier 4 starship to be able to do a normal quality STF. I mean, this is the latest STF, and, you know, there it is. I'm able to do that. Now, I will do this on Advanced. I'm going to have to let it cool down, of course. I will do it on Advanced to show you what it is like on Advanced mode with this ship. It is doable depending on the enemy that you get and, of course, the STF. Some of them are going to be okay on Advanced with this ship, and some are not. But let's continue our normal playthrough first on normal difficulty. Let's do one that everybody does. Everybody does the conduit, right? Although it looks like there might not be a lot of people playing right now. Maybe on Advanced. Let's go ahead and do it on Advanced, in fact. Because I want to be able to get into a queue, and it's very hard these days to do that. So let's go ahead and do an Advanced conduit view, playthrough of this on this ship. Now, I haven't tried this yet with this one, so this will be a new experience for me on this ship. But it should be okay. It's not a very hard STF. It's very easy. So I should be able to do this very well on Advanced with this ship. As long as the pug is good. The pug could be terrible. You never know what kind of people you get. But as long as the other people know what they're doing, this shouldn't be too bad. So let's just see what happens anyway. Can't hurt. It's a valuable data. Because everyone plays the conduit. Group has been matched. Maybe this will go real quickly here. And then what else can I play on this? I could try a mission. We could do a mission on like Advanced mode or something like that. Perhaps, maybe, because I know normal missions, you'll have no problem playing normal missions with this ship. Advanced mode will be a little more difficult with this ship, but still possible. Still very possible. Maybe this will load up real quickly here. Okay, there we go. Well, let's hope for the best. The Borg have this shield draining thing, which is probably going to hurt me a lot.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Well, we may be okay here.
distinctiveness to our own. Disarm your weapons. You will escort us to your home world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
Wow, well there you go. That was actually really easy on this ship. That was easier than these Zenkethi SDFs for sure. And this was the advanced version of this. So yeah, the conduit is really a no-brainer. On a tier 4 starship, even on advanced, I had really no difficulty at all. It was very easy, real simple to do. So it looks like you could stick with a tier 4 starship through the core Borg STFs. That would allow you to start building that reputation up when you become an in-game captain or in-game character in the game. You could still stick with this tier 4 ship if you wanted to. You really don't have to get rid of it, because you'll be able to easily do these STFs and start building your Borg reputation up. Because even on advanced, that was simple. That was so easy. Let's do a Tholian red alert. Been a while since I've done one of those, actually. So let's try it out. That's a normal quality thing, but it's still a red alert. Everyone plays it for choice of marks. So that'll be good. And then I'll wait until the Dranura colonies in Zenkethi cools down, and we'll do it on advanced too. I have done it on advanced on this ship, and I was successful. I did it with the I got the Vodwar with it, and they have that terrible AoE attack, but I still managed to succeed in that STF on advanced with this ship. Let's see how long this is going to take. Hopefully not too long. So basically, I hope you're getting the idea here. It seems like normal STFs are a no-brainer on this thing. You'll be able to do them, no question. The advanced ones, it just is going to depend on the type of STF. Some of them are going to do better than others on this, but for the most part, if you have like a solid build, like all epic stuff like I do, you should be able to do pretty much every advanced STF, as long as you have it all buffed up. If you did not, and you only had like Mark 12 gear, I would not mess with advanced yet. I would wait until you get better gear on the ship. They're all going for those ships. They're gone. Well, that was the Tholian red alert. That was pretty good. No complaints there. Let's see how the Jernura Gauntlet is on cooldown. Probably not ready yet. Jernura Gauntlet, no. I want to do it on that. What is our cooldown time? We got 15 minutes left on it. Well, I'll be... Well, getting into this Jernura Gauntlet Advanced sure took a very long time to pop tonight. So this is a pug, and no telling how good this will go or not.
Don't have a lot of time.
Because it took a while, that means there's not a lot of people playing it right now, so we'll see. But remember, this is advanced mode now, so this is going to be a lot more difficult in this ship. But we're going to take it on, and we're going to try it, and hopefully this team is good as well. And no idea what enemy we're going to get yet until it pops. You never know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to try this out. Remember, I have done this before. I did not record it, but I have done this before on Advanced with this Tier 4 ship, and it was the Vaudouar. And I did manage to succeed in that one. Let's see what happens tonight. And who do we have?
Detected. They're on an intercept.
Oh, we got the Tholians. Okay, not bad so far.
The parts are ready.
See those people out there not even doing any of the satellites? That bugs me, man. It's like, come on. Scan the satellites. Don't have time to waste. Look at that. Nobody's done this side over here at all. It's hard for me to make tight turns in this big ship. That's hard. Look at that. We barely made that. Jeez. Ow. Definitely hitting a lot harder. I'm definitely feeling the burn. Yeah, I'm blowing up a few more times here. We'll go over here. Actually, I think I need to go back over there. Yeah, I'm taking damage now. I'm getting injuries. Just realized there's more people over there than there are over here. So I need to go over here to help. Need to go where there's less people. But I am taking injuries, for sure. I wasted my power.
Satellite upgrades are now.
So hard to turn in the ship. Make those tight turns. Okay, all the satellites are upgraded. I think they're going to hit in the middle. They usually do.
Picking up the enemy flagships. Hang on up there.
And this time we got tarantulas. That's a huge battle, man. That's a huge battle. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Look at that, man. Look at that battle. Arg.
We did it! Enemy fleets have disengaged.
Congratulations, Admiral.
Wow. Whew, that was rough, man.
Looks like the assault is over.
That was rough, but yet successful still. It was rough, but successful. A Tier 4 starship playing an advanced Zenkethi STF, latest content, level 60 content, and I was able to do it. Now, would I do this on Elite? Absolutely not. Not with this ship. But advanced, yeah, if you have a good build. Now, if you have a bad build, or you have low-end gear, or not good quality gear, or no Starship Traits, or no specializations, no, I would strain away from doing advanced. But if you have all of that stuff, go for advanced in this starship. Now, I said I was going to do a mission here, but really, after doing these STFs, I don't really see a need to do the mission, because normal mission content will work just fine with this ship. If we can get through an advanced STF on this ship, then normal difficulty missions, no matter what the mission is, all the way to the very last mission of the game, the storyline missions will play just fine on this starship. And you should even be okay with advanced difficulty missions on this ship. Now, that'll get a little dicey if you don't have really good equipment, but it still should be okay. The mission storyline content is not that hard in the game. So just by the fact that we can get through the advanced STF, the mission stuff should be okay. If you do have trouble on advanced, just back down to normal quality missions and you should be able to get through them with no problem. But I don't think you would have any problems with advanced missions and this ship. So I'm not going to show that because the video is long enough already. I've shown a lot here already. Look how much, how many injuries I took here. So I've got quite a bit of injuries from that on this ship. So you're pushing the line doing advanced stuff with this ship, advanced STFs, but it's doable and possible. Now, the whole reason why I want to reiterate all of that again, and I keep reiterating it's a Tier 4 ship, is because this is a free ship. You don't have to spend a dime to get this ship. No Zen, no dilithium. It's free. All you have to do is hit level 30 in the game, and you can go claim this cruiser for free. And so the reason why that's very important is because there are people who do not want to pay for ships. They do not want to pay Zen, they do not want to pay real money, they do not want to pay dilithium. And so they're thinking to themselves, okay, can I continue with what the game gives me for free? Especially if I like that kind of ship. Well, the answer is with the exploration cruiser here for sure on a Tier 4, the answer is yes. You can continue with an exploration cruiser Tier 4 starship at in-game, no problemo. Just do a good build and you'll be happy with it. Now, there are better ships, of course, because there are Tier 5 ships, and you do get a free Tier 5 ship. But you do not get anything related to the Galaxy class at Tier 5. So Tier 4 is the last possible free Galaxy class starship type of ship that you can get. This is the last Enterprise D variant that you get for free. Every other Galaxy class variant is via Zen. There is actually another Tier 4 Galaxy class starship, and it's called the Venture class. It's Galaxy, but it's a little bit of an upgrade from this ship. However, it is still Tier 4. It has antimatter spread on it. And I can show you this by going into the Z store, going to ships Tier 4, and we scroll down to the bottom, and we have the Venture Exploration Cruiser refit. So there is another Tier 4 version of this ship that has an antimatter spread. It has a different look. However, the specifications are pretty much the same. Note, the hull strength is still 32,500. Weapon slots are the same. Everything's still the same. I think you get one more console upgrade. It has 2 tactical, 3 science. No, that's the same too. No, you get 3 science. So you have 1 more science. So you get an extra console, and you get an antimatter spread module. But otherwise, it's still the Tier 4 refit. So you can upgrade to that, but you'll have to spend Zen. But it's not so much different from the free Tier 4 we're flying right now. But then, when you go to Tier 5, there is no free variant of the Galaxy. There are only paying versions of the Galaxy. For example, if I can find it here, there is the Retrofit, which is the Tier 5, the direct descendant. Here it is, the Galaxy Exploration Cruiser Retrofit. This is the Galaxy class, same Galaxy class, but Tier 5. Now, this one does have better specs. Look, it's got a higher hull strength, 4 fore and 4 aft weapons. So this is better. It's got 4 engineering slots. This is definitely a better ship, and it's got saucer separation. But it's Zen. It costs 2,000 Zen. So there's no free version of a Tier 5 Galaxy. If you want to upgrade to a Tier 5 Galaxy, you'll be spending Zen. And then beyond that, there are the 2 Dreadnought versions. You've got a Tier 5 Dreadnought and a Tier 6 Dreadnought. And I think there's also a Tier 6 Galaxy. But the point is, all of the ships after this one are Z-Store ships. You have to pay Z-Store money. This is the only and last free Galaxy class ship, and it ends at Tier 4. So that's why it was really important to show this ship, because if you don't want to spend money, if you want to stick with this iconic ship in game, and I can see why a lot of people would want to stick with a very iconic ship in-game. Could you do it? The answer is yes, depending on what you're going to play. You will be able to play all mission content at normal level, no problem, with this Tier 4 ship. You will also be able to play all normal STFs and red alerts with no problem with this ship. You will be able to play advanced level STFs if you have a really good build and max this thing out. And I'm talking Mark 14 equipment, epic quality, Starship Traits, specializations, active reputation powers, space traits, all of that. If you have all of that on this ship, then you should be able to do advanced STFs, most of them, with no problem. There might be a few that give you trouble, but most should be okay. Now, on elite quality, I would stay away from elite difficulty with this ship. Something like Corfez, or elite Drenur, or elite anything really. I would not do elite difficulty with this ship. Even elite missions, I would not do elite missions with this ship. So this ship is good for normal, no questions about it. And it's okay at advanced if you have a really good build. But I would stay away from elite. And that's pretty much my final review of this ship. It shows that even a Tier 4 ship can do well at in-game if you play good, play well, practice a lot, and you have a really good build. You can fly this classic, iconic TNG starship. Now, if you want to go further and have a better Galaxy class, then you'll be spending Zen, because there is a Tier 5 version of this ship, and that's better than this ship. For sure, at in-game. Tier 5 is going to be better than Tier 4. But you're going to have to spend Zen. And there is also Tier 6 as well. Again, you're going to have to spend Zen. So anything past this free ship is all Zen. Now, I am going to explore those ships in the subsequent videos. I'm going to do a ship on the Venture class, Tier 4. I'm going to do a video on the Retrofit Tier 5. And then I'm going to do a video on the Dreadnought Tier 5. And then I'm going to do a video on the Dreadnought Tier 6 and the regular version of this Tier 6 as well. So I will cover those ships. They might be shorter videos than this. This is probably going to be the longest out of all of them. But I will show those variants. Just know that those cause Zen. Otherwise, you have now seen that I have taken a Tier 4 ship, explored in-game content, and again, I don't really feel a need to do missions because I know they're going to play well. I've played them, I've tried them, I played the latest one on this. I did Melting Pot, and I had no problems with this ship. Played it very well. It's a very, very good ship for what it is. It actually is capable of in-game content, which is very, very nice. So there you go. At level 30, you get this ship for free. And if you want to stick with it for the remainder of the game, you certainly can. Just keep upgrading it and getting the best equipment you can for it, and you'll have a good experience with it. So this is going to end my initial first video celebrating the 30th anniversary of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is a look at the USS Enterprise NCC-1701D in Star Trek Online, and how this ship operates as a level 30 Tier 4 starship in Star Trek Online. It has been a great ship to fly. I, of course, flew it when I was leveling my characters, and it's very iconic. If you play this game, you do have to get this ship and try it out, just because, hello, it's the Enterprise D. It's fun. It's a good-looking ship. It plays well in this game, and as we saw, it has legs to make it go all the way to in-game content with this ship. It's a very capable ship, and it's free. That's the important part. Well, I hope somebody got something out of this video. If you did, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.